Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Thomas Bednarczyk is the VP of Dealer Sales at a company called Infomedia. They're all over fixed operations. They're worldwide. They are big, big here with dealers in the United States. A lot of amazing solutions. Thomas, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Ted, thank you very much. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well, my friend. Last time we were together, we talked a little bit about the MicroCat EPC solution. I know we're going to take it up a couple levels today and talk about some of the things that it does to help dealers. And I think the term, Thomas, is help becoming more efficient, help create efficiencies on the dealership side. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely, Ted. Yeah, so we've come out with our MicroCat AI to create just those more efficiencies for the dealerships to be processing those large orders, whether they're mechanical or collision.
Now, I know a lot of our audience is familiar with Infomedia. By the way, we're going to see you next week at NADA in Las Vegas. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Look forward to meeting with you.
Yep. All right. We'll come back to that a little bit later in our segment today. But tell our audience a little bit about Infomedia as a company, what you do at Infomedia, and what some of the fixed operation solutions are.
Yeah, no problem at all, Ted. We are a global company. We're headquartered out of Australia. We have offices in Europe and offices in Atlanta. We have over 250,000 users that log into
Wow.
some version of our software on a daily basis. Um, with Ford, we have over 90% of all the market share in the world. We do global work with Nissan and Infiniti. As far as my daily things that I do, I'm the VP of dealer sales here. I have a sales team that goes out and handles and gathers new customers, get new revenue in our doors. From there, I handle all the retention side of the business as well and renewals. We're just a big team and we just have a lot of fun while we're doing it as well.
All right. Well, there we go. And parts and especially a lot of the efficiencies for parts departments has really risen to the top of the ecosystem. I'm seeing it happen before my eyes. And I want to come back to MicroCat EPC because that's probably the most widely used solution in our industry. We mentioned the 250,000 global users you've got. MicroCat APC is now AI involved. And tell us more about that. And what is the problem or solution that you're solving for dealerships?
Yeah, so when we talk to our dealers about building out the AI functionality, the one struggle that the dealers had was taking these large PDFs, images that they get from collision and mechanical shops, of getting them uploaded into MicroCat EPC. So we've sat there and developed it. We're very VIN specific on that information from there. So we load estimates now in 30 seconds to a minute.
Wow. And you know what? This is one of the more common sense AI solutions for dealerships. There's a lot of things I mentioned NADA that are going to be out there next week that some are not ready for retail, but this one creates those efficiencies right now. It's common sense for parts, locating parts, and it's available right now.
Yes, it's available for all of our Ford dealers out there that we have. We have several dealers that are using it that are absolutely enthralled with it. I've had a few dealers on a trial with it. They weren't like crazy about it, and then there was an error on an order that one of their counter guys did, and he goes, "I just threw it into your MicroCat AI, and it just crunched out the order in 30 seconds." And he called me up about 5 minutes after that and says, "Hey, sign me up. I'm in."
Well, there you go. All right, real world. Um, Thomas, let's talk a little bit about the traditional approach that we've used historically in our industry for processing collision and mechanical repair estimates. What has that been, and what sets MicroCat AI apart from that?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of solutions that have been out there in the past. There's logic, there's reasoning behind it. Why MicroCat AI is doing such a more intelligent job is because we get that VIN specific information, and then we actually know how the OEM catalog structure is there and the fitment schedule, and then we also handle the super sessions as well. So as we take in that collision or mechanical order, we just take all of that information and strip it out completely. and including a VIN verification as well.
Wow. And tell us a little bit more about uh, locating that VIN verified OEM part number so quickly. How does it do that? And how does that work? Or is that all part of the AI?
It's all part of the AI and how it works and how it scans it. So even when we're scanning all the parts that come through on a collision or mechanical order, we're actually checking those with the actual OEM catalog to make sure that they're actually genuine OEM parts as well. So if that quote did come over and it didn't have a non-genuine part, we actually bring it to the dealership's attention to be like, hey, there's an error here. This is not an OEM part that is trying to be quoted.
This is a game changer for fixed operations, not just for parts in quickening the process, but it's going to help everybody. It's going to help us on the labor side, on the technician side as well. It's really a huge game changer.
Yeah, it's definitely a big game changer, time saver as well. Margins are getting tighter, staffing shortages are there. So now we're able to help the dealership be more efficient. And then also with that more efficiency, we're saving them more money as well because we're quoting out the job correctly the first time. So
Right.
we're saving on returns.
Okay.
And do dealerships really ever put a dollar value on returns and how much time is spent on returns?
Yeah, that's huge. And I'm just thinking, you're removing a lot of the manual keystrokes that look, you're going to end up attracting a lot of new people to parts, okay? As we go on and move on through time, because now, again, this changes the whole platform with parts, and now parts is starting to become a little bit sexy, Thomas. Okay,
Yeah.
with these new innovations.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's definitely like a whole new workforce of parts people in dealerships nowadays. There's a lot of retirements that are out there. So making these tools faster and smarter for these newcomers in here was really helping dealerships get up to speed, helping the profitability and then the customer success.
For a lot of folks watching today, a lot of dealers and general managers, parts is that other world. Okay, it's in that other part of the building. I don't go in that part of the building. Okay, and a lot of times it's foreseen or seen as maybe a slower process, but now parts teams can process that order. I believe in under 30 seconds. Is that correct?
Yeah, 30 seconds to a minute. By the time we just take the PDF, the JPEG or the PNG file and just upload it, it depends on how big the order actually is and how long it will take it to load. But at worst case scenario, a minute for the load.
So, I mean, is this similar to like in our daily lives? You and I were talking in the green room. I've used Google forever, but it seems lately I'm going to these AI search engines. I won't mention any by name, but we all know who they are, and that's really changed the search online. Is this the same thing that it's doing in dealership, but specifically on the part side?
Yes, totally. It's just taking the intelligence that's out there now in the technology and just making jobs more efficient and easy.
I can't imagine then, just as an aside, a dealer being without this kind of technology coming into 2026.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of change coming up in 2026 for sure. The dealerships are starting to pay attention to a lot of the AI that's out there, and choosing the ones that are actually going to help make them efficient.
Let's come back to that 30 seconds to a minute, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Um, do you mind? Can you give me an example or give our audience an example or two of the kind of change that would make in a day to day in a busy workshop, a busy dealership, or even just in the parts department? What does that mean to dealers? Because we've got small, medium, and large dealers. We've got groups watching. What does that mean?
yeah. One of my larger pilot dealers that we had, he's a large wholesaler. He has said that actually he's saving his guys probably 2 to 3 hours a week in processing all their wholesale orders.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's the time savings alone is there. It's just money well spent as far as I'm concerned.
I think you mentioned something a little bit earlier. I want to come back to that about reducing incorrect orders. We all know how that can happen very easily in dealership. How does MicroCat AI help reduce those incorrect orders and what would result in a costly parts return? Big part of the business.
Yeah, so with the AI, we do that VIN verification, and then with having that proper VIN verification, all the parts that are identified on the order, we actually can tell whether they're related to that actual vehicle itself. And if it's not related to the vehicle from the MicroCat EPC, we actually will call that out to them.
Wow. All right, and again, these are OEM parts. I don't know if you wanna elaborate on that, but, anything outside of the OEM area?
No, we're just doing the OEM parts from there. Nothing on the aftermarket side of things. So we're really trying to make sure we're selling those OEM parts for those dealers.
MicroCat AI, okay, it's out now, and you mentioned if I'm a Ford dealer, I've likely got this available to me?
Yep, if you're a Ford dealer, this is an available option for you right now. The other brands are coming right behind it very soon as well. We can turn on free trials if you're a current customer.
Wow.
We'll be happy to come by and see us at NADA for a live demo of the product. I'll be there. I'll be happy to take you through a demonstration as well.
Typically, dealers and managers who come to NADA to NADA, they're coming out there looking at sales solutions, and they're looking at efficiencies there, but really, the place to make those efficiencies is in fixed ops, and in 2026, this is gonna continue to be the engine behind dealership profitability. Average age of a vehicle on the road in the United States now, I think I saw, what, 12 to 13 years?
Yeah,
So,
I
this
think
has
it's
never been more important, and you're creating a lot of very valuable efficiencies.
Yeah, the efficiencies are there. The fixed ops in the dealerships now is becoming a very important thing. As margins are getting tighter on all the operations from there. So creating that efficiencies in that dealership is going to be a really game changer for them.
Let me come back to you, on the non-genuine, parts, if I may.
Mhm.
How does MicroCat AI identify those non-genuine parts, let's say, in an estimate, and help a dealership win back, the genuine parts sale, if you don't mind?
So when MicroCat AI does the interpretation of the whole order, we actually will notice that the item does not match, and we actually know that the part numbers are very close when they're in aftermarket. So we can actually bring it to their attention, saying like, "Hey, this is an aftermarket product for this. Please adjust it to the proper OEM part."
Is this hard for a dealership to turn on and get started? What's involved uh,
It's it's
in the
it's
early stages?
it's almost very simple to get MicroCat AI turned on. If you're a current MicroCat customer,
Okay.
it's just a simple flick of a switch for us to get turned on. You could be turned on within 20 minutes. And then from there, I mean, it is literally just taking a PDF, dropping it in, and it's going to do all its work for you from there.
All right. You mentioned dealers are using this now. Give us an idea of some of the feedback that you're getting right now from managers, parts people, parts counter people who are using the new solution in the real world.
Yeah. So initially, we were targeting a lot of the collision side of the business, and they loved it too because there's like on a collision accident, there's so many parts and things that are there. One of my big wholesale customers is getting into mechanical now, and he called me up and just said, "I'm using this for the mechanical side of the business now, and this is amazing because it's getting everything that's in there." And then even with Ford, Ford has a lot of one-time use parts as well, so we even identify those one-time use parts for them as well. So as those orders are going out or even within the shop, we're making sure that everything gets accounted for.
A lot of people have been talking about AI taking jobs away and eliminating jobs, but that's not the case here. Okay. What you're really doing is look, we all know that dealers are losing out on whether it's 20, 30, 40% of the business because of inefficiencies. You're really helping to solve that with the existing staffing and make it easier and take a lot of this cumbersome stuff away from, people having to do it and making them more efficient and faster.
Yeah, it's totally making them more efficient, especially like the guys that are working at the counters, like because they're there, they're in a counter, they're trying to process an order, but then a guest walks up. And then from there, they're not really paying attention to the guest. Now, this way, when I can take a estimate and load it in 30 seconds to a minute, you know, then you can actually have your counter sale person there giving that guest better experience.
The focus on time being the new currency in fixed operations is huge. I was in a dealership recently, and they had a big dealership, big service department. They had a couple of the new parts robots that are out there delivering parts out to the technicians so that the technician now doesn't have to take all those steps back and forth. So what you're really doing with MicroCat on the parts side really helps everybody in the dealership, which ultimately is going to help the customer in, getting their vehicle back quicker, identifying the right parts and making sure that we can perform that work um, as quick as possible.
Yeah, that's the name of the goal, and the customer, satisfaction piece is still A1 critical nowadays within the dealership. Those other AI platforms we were talking about before, you know, they're going there to try to figure out where to go get my service now, where to go buy my next vehicle. They're not using the Google stuff anymore. And, having those bad guest experiences makes a difference.
Everybody, we're talking to Thomas Bednarczyk. He's the vice president of dealer sales, a big company called Infomedia that's in our industry that's making service and parts, mostly parts, fixed operations, more efficient. Thomas, I want to ask you, what are some, if you can tell me, okay, because I know we're going to see some of this next week at NAJ. We'll talk about that again in a moment. But tell us, what are some of the innovations or other AI innovations that Infomedia, your company, is working on, and how are those going to benefit parts and fixed operations?
Yeah, so we have a partnership with a company called Intelligam out of Europe.
Okay.
They're another AI company as well that we're developing a lot of different AI solutions as well that we're starting to do some market testing on as well, from service repair manuals to just making it just even more efficient for the technicians, even when they're going to be doing the work in the bay as well. So there's a lot of good things coming down the line for uh, to help this industry that needs a lot more people there.
And you mentioned demoing the MicroCat AI platform at NADA. So tell us about that. I see an NADA booth number. You're going to be in the West Hall next week in Las Vegas. We'll be out to see you and interview you as well. In fact, I'm interested in taking that demo with Sarah Van Tyne as well. Tell us about some of the things that you'll be showing off there that dealers can look forward to in
Yeah,
visiting
so
Infomedia.
we're going to be at NADA. We're going to be at booth 7323 in the North Hall.
Okay.
We're going to be demoing our whole suite of products from MicroCAD EPC, which will cover the AI piece, our messenger piece that we have from there,
Okay.
our super service triage piece that we have, which is our multi-point inspection solution we have. We
Yes.
have an e-commerce division as well called Simple Part.
Simple
Uh,
part. Yes, I
yep.
saw that. Yes.
So
Great.
we'll be showing the Simple Part stuff, a couple other products as well as InfoDrive. It's our new data compiling reporting function that we're coming out with as well. So we'll be able to show you guys some of that as well. Lots of great innovations coming down the line for us.
Brian Benstock, one of the great retail dealer figures here in the United States, Paragon Honda in New York. I saw him recently, and I shared the video with Infomedia. He said on the video that parts, in particular e-commerce parts, is going to be and is now in the top three of all e-commerce, not just automotive, Thomas, but all of e-commerce worldwide, globally. Parts is now number 3. Can you believe that and how important parts has become?
Yeah, and that little piece of the parts piece is very important because of the age of the vehicle and where the Simple Part platform catches a lot of the customers is we help those OEMs sell to those second and third and fourth owners of those vehicles. And then with the average age of a vehicle of about 12 years now on the road, you get a lot of those do-it-yourselfers are trying to fix it now. So you're getting an opportunity to sell an OEM part that customer didn't realize that they could even afford to purchase.
All right. For our audience watching, there's a lot to see and be aware of that's happening right now in 2026 for dealers at Infomedia. Thomas Bednarczyk will be at NADA. You can visit them there. They're in the North Hall, NADA booth number 7323 next week. I'll be there as well. For dealers who are not going, okay, and there are some who do not go, Thomas, can they reach out on the web? I know you're on social media as well. I see your email also scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
They can reach out on the web from our website as well. They can reach out to me directly. I will get them in contact with. I'll either handle them myself, or I'll have a member of my team follow up with them and get them all the answers and everything that they could need to know about MicroCat AI.
Well, congratulations on great success with MicroCat AI, and looking forward to seeing you in person finally. Okay, next week at NADA, and getting a
Yes,
chance to demo this myself.
absolutely, Ted. I look forward to seeing you as well and finally meeting you in person as well.
Everyone, MicroCat AI, solution from Infomedia. Check it out. Very important part of our industry. Become more efficient, make life easier for your personnel, and more efficient for your customers as well. Thomas Bednarczyk from Infomedia here today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.